in a leadership program with us. What was the training program like for you?
I found it very beneficial because Christine sort of tailored it and directed it to people's specific needs, and also where she intuitively felt that they could do with some extra direction. There are a couple of tools that she gave me that I took out of it. Positive thinking, also taking the heat out of a situation and making it more neutral. There's a fabulous story that she tells about an ugly witch and how the use of language can almost predetermine how you think about somebody or something. So trying to use less of those descriptive words to describe something in a negative manner when you're actually not trying to be negative.
That's really important when you're working within a team of people. A lot of the time, people can come up with these preconceived ideas. So having tools to break that is really great.
Yeah, I found that to be a particularly useful tool, just as a reminder of how I tend to think of myself as being quite open-minded and fair, and even I fell into the trap of, because of the way language is used, that I made some assumptions, and just a reminder to myself that those assumptions I should avoid making because they're not always accurate.
So it sounds like what you learned during the time in the training you've obviously taken away with you. Did the training actually differ from other training that you have experienced?
Yes. It was a lot more engaging. It wasn't as formal and it wasn't as dry. Like, you do leadership training and it's all kind of almost robotic and very rote, and all of the trainers seem to talk about the same things, but Christine managed to do it in a manner that involved us, but it also allowed us to laugh at the way we'd come to the conclusions we'd come to.
It's been some time since you attended the program. Is there anything that you've taken from the training and tools that you've actually applied to your business now?
I go back to those training schedules and I think about the things that Christine brought up. So WIIFM, what's in it for me, is something I try and turn around, and it's not what's in it for me, but what's in it for my staff, other than a paycheck. Why do they come to work? Why is it they do what they do? What could I do better?
Yeah, definitely. People work in very different ways now, and the expectations between employer and employee are just so much higher. The stakes are so much higher. The employment pool as well, if you've got really specific needs in your business, it can be quite hard to fill those positions. So I suppose when you do, you want to hold on to them. So
what can I provide them to get them to stay?
Yeah, and that's what leadership's all about, isn't it? Just looking not at that person as a number or somebody, like you said, that just takes a paycheck, but what is it that really drives them individually? How would you describe Christine's approach to facilitating the leadership program?
Warm, open to, having information that she knows that she needs to pass on in that window of time, be it a half day, a full day, an hour, whatever the window might be, understanding that sometimes the content needs to be tweaked or altered slightly to fit the people who are actually in the course, because not everybody learns at the same rate. So just the ability to be a little bit more flexible and to make it fit the group that she has in front of her was something that I kind of appreciated. Understanding that my level of management training was possibly higher than some other members of staff's management training, but still making it relevant for me, but also engaging.
We really like to hear that our tailored approach and making it more personalised actually has a real difference on the people who are sitting in the room. So would our leadership training and coaching programs be something that you would recommend to others?
Most definitely. I took so much out of it. In a management sense, I took a lot out of it, but in a personal sense, I also took a lot out of it. And there have been tools that have, I suppose, almost been embedded in my persona now that I try to use regularly. But sometimes I look at the tools and I kind of go, that doesn't quite work the way I remember it working. How come? And it makes me question the way I'm doing things. And I think that's important because we all have to learn, we all have to develop, and what works in one scenario isn't going to work in every scenario.